Hi folks, this is Heavy Lead Enthusiast coming in today. Today is a good Sunday. What I'm doing today is I'm reloading some heavy 38 special. It's an old school load I have learned about from reading in books and online on forums and other pieces of literature. This is the 358 429. I cast these myself, powder coated them Ford light blue. And all I'm doing today is I already had them deprimed, cleaned, and sized, and I already had I had them primed, excuse me. And so today all I had to do was flare the case mouth, and I used my Lee Deluxe powder measure. I put in about 5.1 grains of unique, and that actually is my favorite 38 special load. It's just so consistent and accurate. So today I had a little free time, so I figured I was gonna go ahead and load some up on the rock chucker here. But yeah, they're all filled with powder. I'm just seating the bullets and then I'm gonna crimp them. Kind of a little short video today, but I wanted to go ahead and might as well show you guys while I'm doing it. It just looks so good. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I've actually tested this round in various forms of mediums. And for a 38 special velocity load, it gets very good penetration. Sometime in the future, I want to test this in 357 cases. I have a Ruger GP100. I believe it has a long enough cylinder to take that round, load it in the crimp groove instead of crimping over the driving band like I did with the hollow point video. And I really didn't like that because it just limited my case capacity and how hard I could push it. So I think I want to try and use the hollow point bullet as well in a 357 case, not crimping over the front driving band, and loading those up with H110, I believe, is what I want to do, or maybe 4227. Another thing to note when you're loading these cast bullets, there's no rush. Don't try and just ram them in there as fast as you can. Now I flare these just enough so they don't basically scrape off powder coat or any bare lead that are exposed. I just want to make sure that these are seated like with good case tension, but not too not flared enough so it just starts scraping, if that makes any sense. Squeaker. So my overall length for these are about 1.543, I believe. I'm using these Winchester cases. I've found these are some of the strongest, if not the strongest, 38 special cases, and I have a whole raft of them, so it works out good for me. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and crimp these once I'm done seating them, and I'll get back to you when I get there. Okay, so I'm back. So what you wanna do when you're seating and crimping, if you want the most consistent ammo you can make, you wanna seat and crimp separately. I know it's kind of a hassle, but I've learned in my experience that that's the only way to go. So another thing I learned is if you watch Fortune Cookie 45 LC, he does a lot of good video series and he has a lot of knowledge on the reloading topic in terms of just a broad spectrum of just knowledge whether it's cartridges or the reloading process or casting, sizing, lubricating, bullets, all that stuff. So one thing I learned from him, and I actually find this to be useful, is obviously like I had my seating stem in there. What I do is when I go for crimping, I take out the crimping stem and the other attachments to go with it, and I just leave my crimping die in there and just kind of slowly get to a point where I'm at my amount of crimp I want. And with these loads, I call it a moderate heavy crimp, not a heavy crimp I would use in like a 357 with slow burning powder like H110. So what I like to do is something I learned from him is you crimp the bullet and you should have a little resistance. And then I spin it to get the other side. If you want my opinion on crimping dies, your best bet is I have no experience with the Lyman, but I hear a lot of good things about them. My favorite one is the RCBS for 357, and the Hornady is a close second. The Lee one is kind of a weird one. I think Lee makes good stuff, but they get kind of lazy sometimes, I think, in terms of dies, because like when I did the 38 short Colt, the crimp was fine for that cartridge for me, but it does like a weird taper crimp slash it's not really a roll crimp either. So not a huge fan of that crimping die, but other than that, Lee makes good stuff. I use a lot of Lee products, so don't get me wrong. But for die sets, spend a little extra money. If you can afford it, get like an RCBS or a Hornady 38 357 die set. But yeah, I plan on going out to the range today and setting these guys off. Might hit some paper and show some results later in the video, what I got for groups. I'm no bench press shooter by any means, but I'm okay for accuracy. But that doesn't matter, guys. What matters is the amount of fun you're having. That's what really matters. And personally, if 357 didn't exist, for example, and I wanted to go use my revolver for hunting, this would be an excellent hunting round. It's a deep penetrator for what it is. It's like a pretty heavy bullet. You get some variation with these Lyman 358 429s, for example. Some of them get, I know I've read on forums, some people get 168 grain, one gets 70. Some get 173. I get anywhere from 173 to 175, so that just makes me all the happier. I like, well, my name suggests it. I like shooting heavy lead and heavy lead projectiles. And one thing I'm looking forward to is I have a lot of projects and just not enough time. That's what sucks with reloading. You just have so many options and so much potential for working up different kinds of loads with jacketed bullets, lead bullets, all that sort. You just don't have enough time, especially if you're a working man or woman. But I have some Lee 310 grains, 310 grain bullets for 44 Magnum. I've gas checked, and also some that aren't gas checked. So I'm gonna do some accuracy testing with that. I also have I just purchased a High Point 10 millimeter. I think I'm gonna reload that today. If I get time, I'll shoot a video. If not, I'll do a video in the future. And I still have some 9 millimeter videos to make, so just not enough time. But at the same time, you're just always seeking to do this kind of thing, and you have a time crunch, especially if you're working, like I said. So, because me personally, I'm trying to save up for an acreage, and that takes first priority over this, unfortunately. But anyways, I hope you guys are having a good Sunday. If you like this video, feel free to comment and subscribe. I'm an amateur at when it comes to this stuff, but I really don't care. I make these videos for fun. I don't expect any monetary gain or anything from YouTube. Thought about maybe doing a Patreon just to basically fund my reloading stuff, and that's all I would use it for, but I probably won't even do that. Because me personally, I don't like asking people for money, nor do I expect them to give it to me. So, well, anyways, I hope you guys have a happy Sunday. God bless, and we will see you again soon. Take care. All right, guys, it's the next day. It's Monday morning, and got a little range report for you guys. Sunday afternoon, I had a little bit of time to go out and test some loads I've been wanting to test forever, and some hand loads I've also just recently made. So anyways, to start, I'll get this talked about. So I loaded up some 10 millimeter. I got some examples of the cases. My first test I did, I used a Lee 175 grain tumble lube truncated cone. Got my overall length. I used a Remington 2.5 large pistol primer, Starline brass. I used 7.3 grains of 800X and a medium crimp. So the primer signs look pretty normal, pretty, in my opinion, kind of low pressure. And cases are still pretty sooty out of that high point carbine. So I also brought another charge out with 7.5 grains 800X, and still the cases are sooty. Primer signs are not flattened by any means, look pretty normal. So I'm gonna make some more 10 millimeter today and increase that charge by 0.2 grains. And I want to get to a point where the cases aren't so sooty. And I did notice with my range testing, you know, my 7.5 grain charge started to get more consistent accuracy. However, my accuracy was kind of skewed because the high point iron sights, in my opinion, are terrible. So the combination between, it's like a ghost ring sight with the high point, and this, like, the trigger is, well, I'm just gonna say how it is. For $250 gun, it's a pretty spongy trigger. So that combination does not help your accuracy potential. So I kind of set a target out, this cardboard target, at 25 yards. And this is the best group of the day I could get, a 2-shot group. All the other rounds were going all over, like the ones with the X's, excuse me, just all over the place. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of put the 10 millimeter testing on the back burner until I get a red dot sight or a scope. Because the problem is with that carbine, you basically, like, if you have any sort of different cheek weld on your gun, and the ghost ring sights are just so hard to like line up and get a consistent sight picture. So it's just difficult. And I know a lot of people have had that problem in review videos. I know Mac at the Military Arms channel was complaining the whole time, oh, I'm happy they made a 10 millimeter carbine, but I just can't hit crap with it. Well, I think the way to fix your accuracy potential is get a red dot or a scope. Because, like I said, the gun it has accuracy potential. The trick of it is just getting the consistent sight picture. But anyways, so I tested some loads, some hand loads I made, you know, a year in the past up until today. So the surprising thing that really got me was the 38 short coat load. And no, it's not the one with the pink bullet. I have another hand load I make. It's Barry's 158 grain flat point with 2.8 grains of bullseye, and this is a 357 Magnum load only. It's just too high pressured for a 38, because even using 2.8 grains with a 105 grain lead bullet and a 38 was getting me over pressure. So to use a 158 grain bullet with that combination of 38, that sounds disastrous to me. But I use this in 357 only. And I shot out of this gun. I have a Ruger SP-101, as well as I have a GP-102. So that's the whole reason why I made that Lyman hollow point video with me crimping over the front driving band just so it could fit in a gun like this or any other 357 I got. But so you have to keep in mind, I'm sure other YouTube people that make review videos on ammunition and guns and stuff, or maybe someone like Fortune Cookie or Elvis Ammo or someone like that, they can probably get better groups than me, because these are like around 1.5 to 2 inch groups, probably. Like, you know, here's the size of my fist. I mean, it covers it up. But all I was doing was I was shooting these at, I know it says 10 yards, it's probably more 11 or 12. I was just being conservative. I just kind of walked it off really quick. I just had my gun in my hand, just, you know, laying on top of like a beanbag rest. I didn't have it in a vise or anything. So I'm sure you could get better accuracy with these loads. But yeah, that 38 short Colt load was pretty accurate. My gun seems to like that Barry's bullet. What really got me was that 38 special wad cutter load. It just was not accurate. And I took my time, and basically I had a level sight picture just underneath this orange sticker. And I took my time. I cocked the hammer back each time, and I even did some dry fire practice to make sure I wasn't flinching or anything, and I wasn't. But here's what I got for the wad cutters, and here's what it looks like. It's a Lee 148 grain with the, I think it's called a button nose or something. I also have the Tumbaloob one I want to test out. I feel like that's going to be more accurate, but for plinking, this round would be probably fine, but not happy with that accuracy. So with that 38 load I just loaded up yesterday, it got really good accuracy. Actually, it was the most accurate for my 38 loads. I think I measured it. It's about 1.5 inches at like 12 yards. I know I put 10, but pretty good. I did have one flyer, but I knew that was me. Once it was the first shot I did, and once I pulled it, or once I shot it, I knew. I just pulled that. I also had a fun opportunity yesterday. I visited some relatives, and they have some 9mm they haven't shot in a while. And they wanted me to go out and make sure it's sighted in, it's accurate. So I got to shoot a Smith & Wesson 9mm, and these are full-size handguns. So, and I also got to shoot a full-size Ruger. And these guns are like from the 90s, so really cool opportunity for me. So I had some hand loads I gave them, and they said, hey, you want to test these, make sure they're accurate? And I know you loaded them up. What it was a 9mm with a Federal case, and it's like this full metal jacket bullet I got on a really good deal from Mid-South. I think you get like a 1,000 full metal jacket projectiles for like $120. So I got on that right away. And the load I used was 3.8 grains of bullseye. Still a pretty moderate load. It's only going like 1,020 or something. But I was really, really happy with this results with the Smith & Wesson 4-shot group. Probably about 1.5 to 2 inch group. Just me kind of slinging them around. I tested the Ruger. Not happy with that results. And then I got one flyer up there from the 9mm. That trigger wasn't as good as the Smith & Wesson, so, I mean, you could chalk it up to my shooting, but still good enough for plinking, to be honest. But yeah, out of all these rounds, I was really impressed with that 38 load, and I've been saying it before, it's just a really accurate, all-purpose bullet for, you know, hunting, plinking, self-defense, in my opinion. So really happy and not so happy with the results. I learned some stuff that high point needs a red dot or a scope, and those wad cutter rounds, they're probably just going to be used for plinking. Well, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.